Hello and welcome to your year-end episode of South King County Real Estate Update, where we recap what happened in 2021 and talk a little bit about what we expect to happen in 2022. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the slides because we have so much to cover today. So go ahead and get going. This is 2021 recap, 2022 predictions. My name is Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott. I do live updates usually every Friday at 3 p.m., weekly updates, but because of the holidays, the way it landed, we're doing our year-end update on a Tuesday. So here we go. All right, so 2021 recap. It's been a long time since I've talked about COVID restrictions because they have not changed in a very long time, but I thought I'd give a little pointer as to where we were at, a little reminder, I guess, as to where we were at on the COVID-19 real estate restrictions. So masks are required. Offices can run at 100% capacity so long as the mask requirement is met. Vaccination status does not have any impact on whether masks are required or not. I think this has all pretty much become second nature to us by now because pretty much everywhere we go, we have to wear a mask. So that is the same for real estate listings, offices, anything like that, any appointments. People need to be masked throughout the whole process while inside. For our little South King County area here, this is actually for Southeast King County, but Southwest is pretty similar. We are at an extreme frenzy level on all price points, which means that a lot of these homes are going pending within the first 30 days. In fact, overall, 89% of listings are going pending in 30 days. In a normal, balanced market, we would expect to see about 30% do so. And these are new resale listings. You can see the blue and green lines were 2018 and 2019. So those are kind of our general trend that we'd expect to see. Our 2020 took us way out of line at the beginning of the pandemic when information was just coming out and people were unsure about what was going on. People do not make big lifetime decisions like a big move when there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. So there was a lot of things that were put on hold. And then once people realized, hey, this COVID thing is a little bit more of a long haul, they decided they wanted to move and get that perfect house so that they could homeschool their kids and have the home office and all that. So that brings us to 2021. And you can see generally we fell back into the same line as we saw in 2018, 2019. So these are new resale listings. We did see a few, especially in May, way fewer listings come on the market than expected. But we generally fell back into our normal trends. As far as buyers going under contracts, these are pending listings. You can see 2018 and 19 follow a very similar trend to the new listings line that we saw on the last screen. 2020, we had again that jump down and then complete rebound, and demand in about June of 2020 reached a level far higher than our normal demand levels. And we have remained elevated above that demand line ever since. So and you can see 2021 is far outpacing 2020 for the amount of buyers that went under contract. This is a chart of those two pieces of information overlaid. So this is buyer and seller activity. The green line is listings. The yellow bars are pending listings. And you can see in 2018, 2019, buyers had a lot more to pick from. This is all extra inventory to pick from, the area in between the bars and the line. And in 2020, we gobbled that up and have remained pretty much at that new listing line with our pendings throughout the last year and a half. And this is the Allen Pope charts. These come out monthly, but they are a little bit more lagged than some of the data. It goes back to 2016, but I zoomed in on 2020 and 2021. If you look at 2018 and 19, you can see the blue line, which is our inventory, is well above our red line, which is our pending sales. So here you can see there's inventory to choose from. And again, in 2020, our two lines have gotten pretty close. And 2021, our pending listings went far above our inventory. So we're just gobbling up listings as soon as they come to the market. That buyer demand is definitely incredibly strong. And our showing traffic this past week did drop off, which we usually expect to see because of the holiday weekend. This is for all of North America. So I'm not sure if the recent snowstorm in our area has affected this very much because it's, nationwide scale. We did see viewings drop off a ton over this Christmas week, but I expect we'll see them bounce back shortly after New Year's. So showing traffic has definitely declined, but we expect that to bounce back. If we look at showing traffic, I really liked this quote from the M report. The demand for housing in the United States has reached a fever pitch, a trend that opposes the norm of this time of year when the market cools and as the winter months set in. So normally October is the beginning of our slow period. October, November, December is generally way fewer home sales. Pretty much everyone's moved to where they want to be where they're at by the time school starts, all sorts of things. But our last two Octobers, 2020 and 2021, have had significantly more showing traffic than we have seen in previous years. And this, if you are a homeowner in Washington State, this is a very exciting graph for you. This shows the average equity gain per month over the last 12 months. In the United States, on average, homeowners gained $51,500 in equity over the last 12 months, which is an incredible gain. But if you take that over to Washington, it's more than double that. We're at $103,000 equity gain on average across our state. And you can see why. This is the King, Snohomish, Kitsap, and Pierce. All areas have greatly increased on their median sales price from last November to this November. And your home equity is growing. If you are a homeowner, today's rising equity is great news. Since this time last year, like I said, the national average was $51,500. Here in Washington, it's $103,000. So double that. You can use this equity in your home to move up to a new house, use that equity to leverage another purchase. You could go back to school. Oh, are we back? One second while I make sure that we're back. Stand by. Stand by. Looks like we are back. All right. So sorry about that. And I'll go ahead and jump back into those slides. Where was I? So yes, I think we were just wrapping up this slide. If you are a homeowner, you have done well this year. If there's something that you want to do to utilize the equity that you have in your home and do something, open a business, go back to school, send your kids to school, something like that, it is an opportunity to do that at this time because of all of that equity that you've gained. And we haven't talked about forbearance for a while either. So I thought I'd circle back to that. Forbearance, we are now below 1 million people in active forbearance. The government set up a program that basically allowed people to defer their mortgage payments until a later date. And a lot of people that signed up for this program didn't actually end up needing it. So they got back on their feet. This is really fantastic news. There was a lot of people that were saying, forbearance equals foreclosure. And especially with that equity that homeowners have gained in the last little bit, that is showing to not be the case. This was a great quote. So this is from Realty Track, and they actually make their money off of foreclosures. So I think that's an important preface to this quote. But after an initial surge following the end of the government's moratorium, it appeared that foreclosure activity may be slowing down. Despite concerns about a pandemic-driven wave of defaults, mortgage delinquency rates and foreclosure starts have continued to decline due to government and industry programs and a recovering U.S. economy. So this, coming from somebody who's from a company who makes their money off of foreclosures, this is an especially good thing to see. And the fact that foreclosure starts decline despite hundreds of thousands of borrowers exiting the CARES Act mortgage forbearance program over the last few months is very encouraging. It suggests that the forbearance equals foreclosure narrative was incorrect. So it is really good to see so many people getting back on their feet after such hard times. And yeah, there was a lot of people that were all doom and gloom, thinking it was a repeat of 2008. People losing jobs and not going to be able to pay their mortgage, but it just didn't end up that way. So today's interest rate, we are at 3.24% on our daily rate. I thought this was just an interesting random point. I will talk about more about mortgage rates in just a moment when we head into 2022. But I thought it was an interesting point that 12% of the population moved in 2020. 53% of them moved within the same county, 25% moved from a different county within the same state, and 18% moved from a different state. So I just thought that was kind of interesting to see the shuffle of people around over the last year. So our 2021 year recap, I'm just going to read a quick quote from John L. Scott's chairman and CEO, J. Lennox Scott. Historically low interest rates and extremely strong buyer demand made the year 2021 a record-breaking year when it came to sales activity intensity and median price increases. Record-breaking sales activity even extended into the luxury market in many areas this year, all the way up into the ultra-luxury ranges in some areas. One major challenge in 2021 was the lack of homes available to meet buyer demand. In the past year, the market was virtually sold out of homes across the more affordable mid-price and into the upper end ranges. In a few market areas, luxury priced homes were sold out as well. Though real estate in 2021 was hotter than ever, some of the most common trends you find year after year were still present. The number of homes coming on the market peaks during the spring and summertime, with the number of homes going under contract following a similar trend line. This year, due to the heightened demand and lower unsold inventory than usual, these two lines were closer together, meaning nearly all new listings were selling and quickly. So that is our 2021 recap. And it's time to jump into 2022 forecast. So mortgage rates. We have, in 2020, we had this crazy fall on interest rates to record lows here. And then we kind of shot up and have been hanging out around this 3% mark throughout the rest of the year. And they're expected to go up from here, but not drastically. Like 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, these are still really historically low interest rates. As you can see, looking back just a few years, goes back to January 2018, and we were at 5%, really close to 5% not that long ago. So the fact that we are seeing projected interest rates still in the threes, I think that is a reasonable thing to think. I don't think we'll break 4% next year, but I would be surprised if we drop back below 3 again. So yeah, rates will rise, but still be pretty low. So we hit a record low of 2.66 at the end of 2020. So that's pretty much where we started the year in 2021. and we're hovering right about 3% for the majority of the year. If we look at where we're headed next year, there were this is for home sales. 6.5 million homes sold in 2020. So that's this yellow line across here. In 2021, we definitely had more home sales than that. And in 2022, it's projected to be pretty close to 2021, with the exception of Master Builders Association. They think it's going to go way crazier, but everybody else thinks it's going to remain about the same on the amount of home sales. As far as home prices, we're kind of all over the board on what these experts think are going to happen with home price appreciation, but the average is about 5.2%. So not the 20% that we saw earlier this year. That was crazy. I would be surprised if we saw anything close to that in 2022. But the 5.2, I think, is a reasonable expectation for what could possibly happen in 2022. So my predictions for 2022: home values will continue to appreciate, but not as fast as 2021. Buyer demand will continue to remain strong. Mortgage rates will increase, but not drastically. And inventory will remain pretty tight. Buyers will have to be buyer ready day one, make sure they're ready to make that offer, pre-approved, ready to go, in order to be able to compete and secure the home of their dreams. And just to wrap up that 2022 forecast, this is another quote from J. Lennox Scott. The 2021 real estate market was incredibly hot and will be hard to beat next year. However, 3 factors will continue moving the market forward in 2022: strong regional job growth, historically low interest rates, and continued desire to lay down roots elsewhere, that I call the Great Reshuffle. So I think that is definitely true. I've just got a couple news stories to hop into here, because I think this is significant. Home price growth is slowing across the United States. Here's what's happening in Seattle. In Seattle, we're up 70%. Home prices are up 70% since 2016. So that is a pretty mind-blowing stat right there. This whole 2020, 2021 jump on the Seattle area market is, that was a mind-blowing year on home price growth. Really, there's more competition is likely to return to Seattle area in the spring. We expect to see that every year. More people come to the market in the spring and want to move in the spring or summer. But will it be as frenzied as the last couple of years? Who knows? This is probably the biggest split on the experts' predictions, is supply of homes. How many homes are going to come to the market in the next 6 months or so? That, I believe, is really highly contested in the industry. I've heard a lot of people say that the inventory will remain incredibly tight. I've also heard people say more inventory will come on the market in 2022. So human behavior is hard to predict, isn't it? This is just another point that I thought was interesting. Heading into 2022, new home sales jumped 12.4% in November, highest in 7 months. So we are seeing a lot more new construction come to the market and get gobbled up as fast as it arrives. So if this happens, if we get more inventory of the market, then there will be less competition for each home in particular. But if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with you about the real estate market in your area, or if there's an area you're thinking about moving to, we can let's sit down, have a cup of coffee and chat and talk about it. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And I want to wish you a very happy new year. I cannot believe that it's the end of the year. This is That's mind-blowing to me. This year went by so fast. But I will be back here with your real estate news next year, Friday at 3 p.m. next week. So not in a couple days, but the week after, I will be back Friday at 3 p.m. with your local real estate news for your South King County real estate update. Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott, logging off and wishing you a very happy New Year.